Did you ever hear that song?
What button?
Press the button.
What button?
The button.
What's the song about the button?
You've never heard that song?
It was, hi, my name is Joe.
No, that's not.
And I
No.
work in a button factory.
How do you know that song?
Camp.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's see if I have sound here.
Do you know that song?
Yeah, I heard that song, but I didn't know it was from like that. I heard it.
Into it?
My kids had a online yoga thing that they.
Pressing buttons with my right hand.
All right.
Hi, my name is
Okay.
Joe. And I
With my
work
stuff
in
too.
a button And one day, my boss said, push the button with your left hand. What are you doing? I thought you had pants on.
I do. I'm gonna change my. I need some jujitsu pants.
Should I keep singing the button song? It goes, hi, my name is Joe, and I work in a button factory. And one day, my boss said, push the button with your head. And then you gotta push the button with your head while you do the button dance. Where did you learn that song? Did you learn that song in summer camp?
I've never heard that song until like a month ago when my kids were watching this random kids yoga show, and the person who was doing the host of the show sang the song,
Really?
and I was like, okay, and she got into it.
Yeah.
It was a lit. The song was like that was a remix of this song.
Oh, nice.
I don't know.
Were they pressing buttons? Was that? I think I got the song wrong, but I think it's the Button Factory.
I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I didn't listen
Maybe
to
it's
it
the
that
Yoga
closely.
Factory. I guess you could change it to whatever you want, right?
I guess you could.
If you work in a jiu-jitsu factory, then you could do shrimps.
You could
Anyway,
Right arms.
we do arm drags.
arm drags.
Which is the
the
goal.
dragging of the arms.
That's today's goal. We want to arm drag stuff. Oh, that's my pants. But we're going to do it from the knees because it's just easier that way. Because we can come down and join us all the way down. Thank you. Right. So we're doing like a basic arm drag, right? Some things we can consider, right? One is going to be the hands controlling the wrist. There are two ways, probably more, two basic ways to grab the wrist here, right? This little like pronated way where we're thumb down, and the supinated way where we're thumb up, right? In my opinion, and I don't know if you have an opinion about this, is that me or you? Is thumb down is better, right? I believe this is the case because I want his arm to go this way, right? And I have more power with my muscles to be able to push it in this direction, right? As opposed to here, right? The finger gripping. Ooh, smart, right? That's a better reason.
Now I can't. It's harder for. Not that I can't, but now this is easy.
Yeah.
The other way, the only way I do is that way. And even that is hard.
But since we're
Oh.
supporting it, right? We're
Behind
like
the elbow.
Do you like behind the elbow or are you an armpit guy?
It depends on the situation.
For this situation, for some reason, I prefer behind the elbow, right? And then what we're gonna do is, what I want to use this hand to guide his hand underneath this one, right? Because what I want is I want to be able to pinch on his hand with my elbow here. All right, I'll do this side so we can see. All right, when I pull in here, right, as soon as his hand clears my arm, I want to be able to pinch it down here, right? And then from here, I'm going to pull in and I want to connect my head to the back of his head, right? And then usually from here, this hand is going to come up and over, and it's going to make contact, and I'm going to start trying to walk my way up their back. All right, but this hand needs to guide it over. If I arm drag and his hand comes over my arm here, right? He's just going to pull it back, and that's ridiculous. So we want to be here, and then. Like here with the forearms crossed, right? We've crossed forearm streams. He's not going to be able to just pull it back. Or swords. All right, so
It's a big no-no.
So a couple things, right? There are a couple ways that we can approach this, right? Two basic ways again, right? When we're doing this arm drag here, I can either focus on trying to pull the ridge here, or what I can do is when I make my contact here, I can pull myself into the ridge here. So it's kind of depending on what you're trying to do or what feedback this person gives, and also the size and height difference will kind of determine what you do. Usually, right, if I can move this person to any degree, or if their weight is kind of high and forward, I'm going to think about moving them here. But if they're sitting back, right, or they're heavier, I'm going to just come up and try and knock them back over their shin here, right, and just kind of get that arm out of the way.
Are you suggesting that you use my energy against me?
Yes.
Yes.
We have
classic jujitsu.
Classic judo.
This is what Gracie invented.
Yes.
But no one knew before Elliot Gracie.
A couple other details, right? Again, when we're, I mentioned earlier, like pinching in with this elbow, right? This is really useful. If you're kind of the style where you kind of want to gradually build your way up to things, right? Where I'm kind of clamping my way and pulling, climbing my way up to their back, right? So when you do this, right, what we want is to get kind of everything clamped around this arm. So not only am I getting this elbow clamped in, but I'm also doing like an oblique crunch here, right? And if I do this right, he shouldn't be able to get his arm back, right? Because I'm kind of investing a lot of things into this arm here, right? And then furthermore, I want to get my head kind of up and into space. I want to start crowding in here. That way there's just some stuff in the way of his arm so we can't just easily pull it out, right? I want to crowd here, and then this arm will further, I can either pull him towards me, or I can use this to start helping to pull myself up and then start attacking the back here. All right, but what I like, or what I've been enjoying immensely, is pulling this in and just like kind of shotgunning this grip and playing with how much space can be built here, and either climbing up here or like moving in. I don't know. What do you think?
I like the idea of reinforcing, right, that you're doing with
Like
you have,
something.
traditionally, or like the old, now I would say old way that kind of you learn these is kind of like more loose and fast, and really focusing on kind of almost the speed of the technique. Like it's a shock, it's a it's kind of like a surprise that, okay, the guy's here, hand fighting with you, and then you just shock them so fast, and you pull up, as opposed to, I think, and they're not incompatible, it's just that once you get that arm crossed and now you're pinching, this pinch is really good because I can't even begin to get the arm out. Then you've got the elbow, so even if I had some looseness, and then now you're further reinforcing it with your shoulder, and now you're taking that hook grip on my back, right? So all those things are going to keep me here. The only thing that I think is a bit, I'm going to have two things. I can either sit back right away, I can start to push, I can try to come over. But again, this is that, you're sitting here, we're not actually being realistic in terms of this. It's still a fast move, right? I'm not going to always have the time, or I can't rely on that time to like kind of try to grab your head. And
I like that head grab though. I want to encourage it.
well, let's talk about it. What happens when someone grabs your head?
Alright, so I don't know, I just got a flash of thing here. So if we get our head grabbed here, right? Instead of having my arm over here, I want to control, and then this hand's going to swoop underneath, and now I'm going to load up.
Whoa, that was fun. Wow, this is advanced.
But that's the style I usually like to play.
I think that's awesome. Let's do that again. Let's show.
You can do that from half guard too, or like I'll usually be playing with the person, and I'll just put my head here, and they.
So show it real quick. Yeah. So this is cool because the person's gonna be here.
Yeah.
They're gonna feel pretty good. This is like I feel pretty good right now.
Right. So I want to make this connection here, right? Because I want to be able to kind of expose the shoulder, because I want to make him roll over it, right? Second thing is I want to pin his elbow to the floor, right? So I like to pin with my head here, right? Sometimes this doesn't, you don't want to pin it to the arm because it's like too far away. But the goal is like, if he can take his arm out and base with it, it's going to be bad for me. Not that like, if it happens, I can't do something, right? Because if he does, right, he takes it out and bases, then we have a lot of space to escape. But, right, I would rather get on top. So when we're here, I'm going to kind of trap it, and then I'm going to, this hand is in charge of finding his hip, and then I want to use my feet to bridge into you and knock you over here.
Let's do it from this position. Maybe I just want to get different angles so people at home.
Great. Are we doing
Yeah, so-
the basic one or the arm drag?
Well, just the basic one for now, because it's just kind of follow one from the other. So we'll just see, we're here.
Yeah, so what I need, because right now it's not good because my arm's on the wrong side, right? So I want to get this elbow over. And of course, you should recognize that this is also dangerous because you could easily switch to a head-on triangle. So what I can't be is relaxed here, right? I'm not just like getting my arm up here and hanging out, right? I'm grabbing and I'm pushing down and trying to make space between his head and his shoulder. Right, from here, I'm gonna pin, and I wanna turn my hips so that I'm aligned with him, like my spine is parallel to his.
Like logs.
Yeah, right, that way it's easier to roll. If we're here, I'm gonna be trying to pick his hip up over this arc, and it's gonna be difficult because of leverage, right? So I can kind of decrease the angular momentum by turning here, and now when I bridge into it, there's gonna be more.
That little hooky. Let me see, I'm gonna try it like that. So where were we? You're clapping, you're getting my head.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm gonna go here.
Mm-hmm.
And then I wanna roll. Oh, it's so easy. That's fun. That's actually, for the north-south, you know, when people try to north-south you,
Mm-hmm.
and they go, is this the same, do you like to do the same thing?
It's very similar, but usually with north-south, people don't commit their arms to the neck unless they're actively going for like a north-south trip.
Mm-hmm. So just come over.
It's just a little different. If you can,
So if you get my head.
like,
So I like this because sometimes if I can get here, you know, and I can get your like a chin strap, you know, I can do something similar. But because I don't really have a lock, I just have my head on the arm. Yeah, this happens. So I like this, right? And wait, are you coming here? What are you doing with this game?
I like connecting to the hip here.
But you have to be like you have to really commit to me, right? Like so it has to be.
Yeah, usually when
Oh,
the weight
What happened? That was not good.
it's very difficult when their weight is back. So usually, I think you had your weight.
I'm like putting my weight into you, right? Like if I'm here, I'm gonna be probably driving in. So I'm almost giving you the sweep, because if I drive into here,
Yeah.
it doesn't take much to make me to not be over.
So how about this? Let's try get into a position where you think I can't sweep you, and then we'll try and sweep from there.
All right. So we're gonna be from here, and up. You want to make me? I should be in this position you can't see. Hmm.
Like
Alright.
if you were going for this guillotine thing,
Right.
and you were trying to
All right.
overlook.
Because now I'm posting with this.
Yeah.
You see, it's like I've given up on the neck. I'm not grabbing your head anymore.
So that I have a thing for if that happens.
Right. So let's say,
Right,
but the premise of this technique, maybe we're going to go to our far field, is you did the arm drag and your head is exposed.
And
So at that moment, because you're still like, I have to commit to come over. I can't do what I'm doing,
you're definitely committing an arm.
right? So if I'm here and you get to your good position, I have to reach out. Unless you're curled all the way here, I have to extend my elbow to wrap. I can't unless, maybe if I'm a lot longer armed, but me, I have to come over. So then when I'm here and I'm committed, see, you still have, and I drop. See how I drop my weight
Did you
in?
drop on purpose?
No, it's natural that I'm going to drop. I can't actually stop myself from dropping because my arm's committed to you, right? So now when you bridge and roll,
And then
my weight's already going that way, right? And you have so much momentum because you've already dragged me. Like if we're sitting there, we start from the position and I just start pulling backwards, you're not going to do it because I'm pulling the opposite way. But if we're here, drop in, you put your head in it, drop it, I'm like almost sweeping myself. The lesson there is don't try to reach for it.
Yeah, honestly, I would, if you cross face it.
Yeah, so if you come back.
I usually do this
Well,
with the
the thing is though, is that people can't help themselves.
Yeah, that's nice.
They see the head out there, they only have, so the other thing is if you drill this a lot and you're familiar with the arm drag, then you're not gonna do that, usually. But
If you're the person in your position.
if I'm getting dragged,
You're getting dragged, yeah.
my first reaction is not going to be to usually just go for your head. It's to raise my hips.
Really?
Yeah. So if you drag me, right? If we're here and you drag me.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because now you're not going to go to my back. And so my concern is that I'm going to get my back kicked,
That's smart.
right? I'm not going to. So, but you
You're
have
not
to.
gonna let me climb up.
I don't want you to climb up,
That's
right?
fair.
So if we're here and you drag me, the right answer is to quad pod, right? And then you can start battling out,
Yeah.
right? Now if you go really fast and I'm not ready, like you can still go on that arm,
Yeah.
for sure.
I like to do that as like an opener. I have a lot.
I used to do this a lot from half guard,
Yes.
where
Yes.
people arm drag me, right? So let's say we're here and they arm drag and I back step,
Oh, that's smart.
right? But I'm still trying to get into that back step,
Uh-huh.
right? And then as they're scooting that hip back, I come.
What am I scooting now?
So you don't want my leg, so you don't want to give me the leg, so you're going to put the leg on the knee on the ground, right? So as you do this, I'm going to make that underhook, if I can. Or I'll just go back. But if we're not in the half guard, right? If we're in this open and you arm drag me and you get me here, right? Now, you can do whatever it is that you want to do. Oh, look at this doors. I like that. All those nice things.
This is my favorite. Oh, sorry.
Those are my fingers. Look at this arm. Can you yes. Ooh, right into the. Anyway, there's a lot of. That's the other thing that you can do, is you can attack this. Because I have to post.
You don't have to.
Well, unless I want to face plant.
You get
It's
swap.
kind of hard to not. It's hard not to post with your left arm.
Oh yeah, during the arm drag.
Yes.
I thought you meant afterwards. Yeah.
No,
I
but
agree.
if it's like we're here, and I go like this,
Yeah.
right? If I don't raise up and I try to get this out, you have my other arm.
I like the 100% from there, where if they post, then if I can get here
Oh, that's a good one.
and hook this and get this gable.
That's nice.
And then usually I feel like I have a lot of control because I have, I can like pull them in and keep them locked in. I have their posture controlled, and then I'm just like, oh, it's not going. Got a lot of leverage with that.
You gotta be careful in that. I don't know.
It's illegal in a lot of places.
I think that would be considered a neck crank.
Yes.
If you hold on to it for too long. If you just sweep off of it
Yeah.
right away and let go, you're probably gonna be okay.
Yeah.
But if you sit in there and start cranking,
I mean, because it's like it turns into a pec extension, shoulder separation, but it's just like if you're blatantly pushing on the neck, then yeah, it's gonna.
I remember I had a match where this was a long time ago, where the guy had me in I think it was in hex guard, and the counter that I did to everybody at that point was I just pulled on their head and tried to sit through on top of him. And so I grabbed his head, and I wasn't like pulling it, I was just holding, and the ref gave me a warning because I was holding the head. So
I
just,
thought you were allowed to hold the head, but not pull on it.
now again, this was a long time ago,
Yeah.
but I'm saying,
It's
and
hard.
I've also found, look, I got disqualified for doing things that I won matches in the past. So the rules are constantly evolving, and you can't always say like what was legal yesterday is legal today, and what's illegal yesterday is not, and vice versa. So I guess the only point is don't hold on to that if you're in an IBJJF event.
Yeah.
Not to say that you shouldn't do it. If you do it fast enough, you'll probably be okay.
Yeah.
It's definitely super powerful technique and totally awesome. I love that technique.
Especially if you're allowed to,
I used to do that instead of guillotines.
Yes.
That was like a classic.
Because like.
I just basically can opener you with the.
Yeah. Because guillotines are like super hard to finish in the beginning, so it's like, why would I do this when I could just it solves all my problems?
It works unless the person's super flexible.
Yeah.
Or maybe super. Sometimes even super really big, thick necked guys with big shoulders.
Yeah.
Even because it doesn't take much to just push that head down.
Yeah.
And put the chin onto.
But if they know the defense, you're not going to finish it, I think. But you are going to get an exposure probably.
You're gonna sweep them,
Yeah.
right? You're gonna hold them.
Yeah.
So, I like that a lot. The other, while we're on the subject of arm drags that I used to do a lot was when I would drag, I would push.
Oh, that's weird.
Right? So I like this, but then I would scoop, push, and then come up here. So I'd have a kind of a dual action where I kick out the knee. So that only really works when you have knees on the ground, right? So if I'm, this, I mean, you can still get a drag, but I'm not going to get that far knee.
You're just like stepping on it, so I can't like.
So I don't have to, like if I get you in the drag, right? And so what I would do, and so this is a little different, is I would scoop my hips out, and I would just post.
Yeah.
And if I happen to kick your leg out, like I wasn't trying to just kick your leg out, because some people you can't kick out their, if it's a dry surface, you're not going to slide. Once it gets slippery though, this is a good technique. So this is one where, you're just kind of checking the arms, or I don't really do much here, but as we come in, I like to.
Just like a little push sweep.
Yeah. And it just kind of keeps you, pushes your leg away. And sometimes if I push it and you kind of collapse a little bit, it actually is a complementary action.
Give it a face plant.
I really like, all of these, even like a butterfly, where if sometimes you'll be here, right, and I'll come up, right, and then you just take a leg out, and it's really hard for the person to turn the hips and go. So it's one of those things where if you can get the arm across, it's a really nice set.
Oh, what I was thinking? Forget. So this was arm drag here, get connected here, and then pop up and into
all sorts of fancy.
Oh, he's
Fitty.
I got it before I could defend. Success.
Really? Can you finish that?
Yeah. You don't trust me?
I mean, maybe.
You don't believe me?
Maybe.
Why do I have to show you for you to trust me that I can finish you? Can't you just believe me?
Fine, I believe you.
Nice.
Do you ever get redragged? Do you ever
Yeah.
talk about redrags?
Yeah, so the redrag is the idea where Rich knows I want to arm drag him, and instead he's going to redrag. So as I drag him, he's just coming through, and then he's going to just like re-pull the arm. So should I come up or? Yeah.
I'm not great at redragging, but I've been redragged a million times.
Yeah.
But what do you do? So the way I think of it is, right, if you drag me here, and then you come up, and then I can redrag you, right? This is kind of the movement.
Yeah.
So I'm almost the person who will let you drag them,
Yes.
right? So
In anticipation.
here, and then they drag you through again. What do you do for that? I think people should know. I'm probably butchering that. I'm not a huge redragger, but
It exists, you can do it. I think it's like the concept of like the Kimura, right? My Kimura can.
we're in a 50, in a way, we're in a 50-50,
It's a 50-50,
right?
right? So it's like, who's going to win? The person who is better trained at it and who has more confidence at the time. But yeah, I think, I'm not sure, I don't have any special way to explain the timing.
So if you do it really fast, and the person's setting you up or just anticipating it, I think you can get redragged. Theoretically, you can just redrag each other all day, right? Because you're just in that equal position. But when you reinforce it, it makes it really hard for me to redrag because I don't have the same rotational power as you do.
Well, yeah, I think like if you do the arm drag like we were explaining, where you're like clamping and doing it step by step, you're not gonna get redragged.
Because you're posting or like putting your body behind my shoulder.
Yeah.
So if you go back, and if you do that kind of slow as Kevin comes up, okay, whatever you're doing, right? I can't yet. There's never a possibility for me, at least that I understand, feel that I can redrag you. If you go fast and try to pop me through, then you can get redragged.
I agree.
Right? So if all you're doing is like thinking, I'm just going to throw his hand on the mat, And then see my knees still on the ground.
As long as you're able to maintain some height
Yeah,
here,
my
then,
hips.
then you're able to turn.
Because I'm able to sit here,
Yeah.
right? So,
But I
that-
bet with your leg trick, if you can drag while.
yeah,
you-
so that's why, that's another reason, because now I can't
Now you
put
can
that
do
foot
it.
on, or that knee on the ground.
Yeah.
So I can't, I have nothing to pivot on.
Yeah.
That's why this is the better, to me, that's the better.
Sorry.
That's the better option.
Yeah.
I mean, not that re-dragging is bad, it's just, it doesn't always work and it's kind of risky.
You're relying on a lot of things to go correctly.
I think the other thing is about that one that you do, which I really have trained, I've over the years tried to do more of a secure, like sealing off of the whole side of the back side of the shoulder, and getting that kind of that grip. That really prevents those kinds of shenanigans.
Yeah.
Now it's not as much of a speed move anymore, but you can, once you get to this position, once you have this, and you're like this is no good for me anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I wouldn't hang out here. I would continue to try and work towards something else.
Yeah.
But, you know, this is really strong, and I like
This
it
is-
all. It's a place where we can decide where we want to work from, right? And with his arm here, I can either start coming to his back, or if it's exposed here, I can start trying to isolate it. So much fun. I like it a lot.
Oh, Darces. That's pretty cool. Show the Darce real quick.
The Darce one
That's
is
pretty cool.
nice, right? Instead of trying to anticipate going up to the hip here, right? This arm is going to come in and it's going to
Whoa.
be his shoulder, right? Then waving to the crowd, it's going to come into my bicep. I can roll him over at the top of his head.
That's so sweet. If you get that one,
Yeah,
that's a win.
it's
Let me see. I've never done this one.
good.
I've never
I
done.
think it's a boogeyman thing.
Maybe because I don't like left-handed Darces. Let me do the other side. That's not bad.
Yeah.
That's so. You like that pruny? Or is that?
Yeah, it's
Or split here. I feel like Jeff Glover right now.
yeah.
The only thing I don't like about that is that I'm afraid you're gonna pass.
Yeah.
Like that, like here, I don't like that. So you have to have it really deep. I guess, I mean, if you're
But
a Darce guy, that'll work, but you should be aware of it though, right? That's another thing that you need to be aware of as you're training.
I think if you have it deep enough though, you can pass me all you want.
Yeah, if you're deep enough.
Yeah.
I mean, this is one of those things where the relative arm length really matters. If my opponent has long, skinny arms, this is easy for him.
So like if you're passing, you want to pass?
Yeah, you still have my arm.
Yeah, like here it is. And I bet you could adjust it, make it very uncomfortable.
I mean, some people are really good at, bringing your arm around, or they're gonna swim it, or they're gonna block, whatever it is. But that's pretty tricky.
Yeah.
That's pretty clever. I like that one. I don't think I've ever seen that.
I think that's boogeyman stuff.
That's pretty slick. I mean, he's got long, skinny arms,
Yeah.
so that really makes sense for him.
All the Darce
That's
guys.
very nice. Yeah, you gotta watch out for those guys with the skinny arms. Short arm, like big muscle guys, they don't do Darces. It's the guys with the long, skinny arms.
Bone saw.
I'm trying to think of who, if there's any exceptions to that. I don't think so. I've never seen a big, that's like a Braulio.
All the big guys in the gi that I knew used to do like the paper cutters more than the Darces. But some of the old school Darces and head arm triangles, you could set up with the gi, right? You would gather up the collars. I haven't studied enough of that though. Yeah, I don't know any big old Darce players.
It's not, I don't think it's very common. I think it's like
Lanky.
little guys, like lanky, long,
Creepy thin men.
the thin guys. You gotta watch out for the skinny dudes. They, you don't think of like guillotines and Darces. You see a skinny person, you're just like, oh, they're gonna do like rubber guard, which they may do as well. But man, they get those arms in and they hurt because they're like skinny and
Garrote
brawny.
wire or whatever it's
Oh.
called. How do you say that?
What is it?
Garrote wire?
Garrett? I always
Garrote
said
wire?
Garrett. Garrote.
It's French,
Garrote.
right? Garrote.
It's definitely garrote.
Garrote.
Garrote. That's totally different.
Garage is a fancy French word.
Garrote. Garrote. There's two T's in
Garrote. I can't roll my R's. Can you?
Garrote. Garrote.
Jealous.
Gotta be like. Okay, that's like German. That's like some. All right. Thanks, guys.
That's fun. Okay.
Arm drags.
I'm driving the world.
Have a good weekend.
15 minutes.
This can